All right, grammar detectives, welcome. Today, we are cracking a seriously called case. This is a mystery full of hidden identities, of words that are absolutely not what they seem. So join me as we hunt for the disguised verb.
I mean, it's a good question, right? In the world of sentences, we think of verbs as the action heroes. You know, they run, they jump, they think. But sometimes they go undercover. They take on jobs we'd never expect. And our mission today is to find them and figure out what they're up to.
And you know what? Our very first clue comes from the master himself, William Shakespeare. Let's zoom in on that famous phrase, to be. It's definitely a verb, but think about it. It's not saying who is being or when they are being. It's just the pure, basic idea of existence. This, my friends, is our prime suspect.
Okay, so we're officially opening the case file on these verbs in disguise. These guys are special. They have all the DNA of a verb, but they're not playing by the usual rules.
So our suspect has an official name. It's called an infinitive. The technical term is a non-finite verb. So what on earth does that mean? Well, all it means is that it hasn't been tied down yet. It's not he runs or they ran. It's just the pure concept of the action. And that freedom lets it take on all sorts of other jobs in a sentence.
So plot twist, it turns out we're not just looking for one suspect. We're looking for two. Let's get them in the lineup. They operate in pretty similar ways, but one of them has a very obvious tell. Okay, on the left, you've got the to-infinitive. This one's pretty easy to spot, because it almost always wears its signature disguise, that little word to right out front. But on the right, we have the bare infinitive, and this one is way sneakier. It shows up without the to, which is why it so often hides in plain sight. So let's focus our investigation on that first one, the to-infinitive. I want you to think of it like a chameleon. It is a true master of disguise, able to blend into a sentence by pretending to be three completely different parts of speech. Its first and most common disguise? Pretending to be a noun. Now you know what a noun is. A person, a place, a thing. Well, the to-infinitive can totally act like the thing in a sentence. It can be the subject, or, way more often, the object of another verb. Let's look at the evidence from our case file. She loves to write. Okay, ask the question, what does she love? She loves the act of writing. So in this case, to write is the thing being loved. It's taking the action from the verb loves, doing the exact same job a noun would do. See? All right, let's check out its next disguise. The to-infinitive can also slip into the costume of an adjective. And what do adjectives do? They describe nouns, right? They give us more information about them. Let's examine this piece of evidence. This is the time to prepare. So, what kind of time is it? It's time to prepare. That little phrase is modifying the noun time. It's telling us its purpose, just like an adjective would. It's pretty clever, huh? And for its final trick, this chameleon can act like an adverb. Adverbs are the multitaskers of the grammar world. They can modify verbs, adjectives, other adverbs, and they usually answer questions like why, how, or when. Check this one out. We played to win. Ask the question, why did we play? The answer is to win. That infinitive phrase is modifying the verb played, telling us the reason for the action. And that is a classic adverb job. Case closed on that disguise. Okay, we have totally figured out the to-infinitive. Now it's time to track down its more slippery partner, the bare infinitive. This one is trickier because, well, it just looks like a normal verb, but there is a tell. Here's the secret to spotting it. The bare infinitive never works alone. It has accomplices. It only ever shows up after a very specific crew of other verbs. If you learn to spot these accomplices, you'll spot the bare infinitive every single time. So the first crew of accomplices are these verbs of perception and causation. We're talking about words like hear, see, let, and make. When you see one of these guys in a sentence, be on high alert, because a bare infinitive is probably coming right after.
And the second crew, and this is a big one, are the modal auxiliary verbs. You use these all the time without even thinking about it. They're those little helping verbs that show possibility or necessity, like will, can, should, and must. They are almost always followed by a bare infinitive.
Okay, let's see this in the wild. In this sentence, we've got the accomplice verb hear. And what comes next? The bare infinitive speak. Notice how we don't say, did she hear you to speak? It just sounds super weird, right? That's your brain instinctively knowing the rule.
And here's one with a modal. We've got the accomplice, will. So the verb that follows, meet, has to be a bare infinitive. Again, you would never ever say, I will to meet you. It feels so natural we don't even think about it, but now you actually know the grammatical reason why.
And with that, you have all the evidence. You've seen the disguises. You know the accomplices. You now have everything you need to become an infinitive detective all on your own.
So here it is, your official detective's guide. Step 1. Find a word that looks like a verb. Then ask yourself, is it tied to a subject, like in he walks? If not, ding ding ding, you might have an infinitive on your hands. Step 2. Look for the clues. Is there a little to right in front of it? Or is it hanging out right after one of those accomplice verbs we just talked about?
And that's a wrap. The case of the disguised verb is officially closed. You cracked it. By understanding how these grammar chameleons work, you can make your own writing that much clearer and more powerful. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with your newfound detective skills? Keep your eyes peeled. They're everywhere.